Hey my friend, this is Joe Bakhmutsky. I'm the founder of Power to Be Happy and the author of Finding Hope in Times of Uncertainty, a guide to thriving in the challenging world of today. And listen, the crazy thing about doubt is that it always comes from the outside. Have you ever noticed that it's never really something that happened inside you, but it's always kind of set off by something that happened externally? It's how we react to something that somebody said, or maybe something that happened, and in turn, that's kind of made you doubt yourself. It's gonna made you worry about how things are going to turn out. And the crazy thing is that doubt always happens about an area of your life where you are trying to grow. Right? An area of your life where you are trying to really grow and be better. And when you're growing, you're more vulnerable. You don't have as much confidence about it because you might be figuring things out. And that's where we feel a little bit more exposed, and where we feel that there is sometimes this voice that comes up right after something that's happened on the outside that's made you can kind of start to worry a little bit more. And this voice is asking all of these kind of negative questions, or like, oh, am I good enough to do this? Is this thing even going to work out? Am I gonna look like a fool? I mean, should I even bother? Maybe I should just give up and just let it happen, And I call it the wrong voice, right? It's the wrong voice because it's the voice that you hear inside yourself that's asking you about all the things that could go wrong. No, and we know that in life, right? It's not perfect, and things can often, it's just go sideways. But it doesn't mean that they will, right? It's just this wrong voice asking you these negative questions. And the way to respond to this, the first thing I would like to ask you to consider doing is to do something to prove to yourself that you either can do it, whatever this doubt is about in this area of your life, or that you are committed to becoming better, right? Because doubt, as we talked about, always comes from the outside, and it always comes up about an area of your life that you are trying to grow. So what I'm suggesting you do is that you immediately figure out what are you going to do right now that will either prove to yourself that you can actually do this, or at least that you are committed to kind of making a change in this area and becoming better. So, let's say if you're single and you're kind of worried, about, being alone. I mean, it's an awful place to be because I've been there at certain points of my life. Well, the way to prove yourself that you are going to make a change and that you deserve better is to go on a date. Doesn't mean that you're going to find the person then, but it means that you are proving to yourself that you are committed to doing something about it, that you're not afraid to, trying to put yourself out there and go through it and figure things out and making things happen. If, for example, if you're unsure about, running online ads for your business, for example, the best way to deal with it would be to maybe go get a course, sign up for a course that teaches you how to run ads on a specific platform that will help you to figure things out and will give you the confidence and the tools that you need to get going, right? If, for example, if you are worried about a presentation that you need to make, for, at your work or with your business or in your community, right? And you have to maybe get up and speak and you're worried about that. Well, then go ahead and practice that presentation or put it together first, put some slides or notes and then practice it. Practice it a couple of times and you'll feel more confident, right? You will feel more confident because you will be proving in each of those situations and in your own life, you will be proven that you are committed to making a change in that area of your life. And listen, and if you're not sure about specifically what there is that you can do, you can always go up and ask. Well, let's say, if I wanted to publish a book, like what would I do? Well, I would go down and find someone who's wrote the book. I would talk to an author and I would say, hey, how does this thing work? In fact, that's what I've done. Years ago when I wanted to write my book, I thought of a friend she's a writer, and I went up to her and I caught up with her for coffee, and I said, how does this whole thing work? And it's given me a perspective, and it's given me a jumping off point where I could try and figure things out then, even though I had no idea what I was doing at the time, right? So if you, for example, wanting to get advice about, let's say, your career, right? You could try to find someone who maybe does a similar role that you want to be doing, or maybe someone who could be your mentor at your organization or in your community. And you could say to them, well, here is what I'm doing and here is what I'd like to be like. What would you suggest, or what would I be doing differently, right? These are the key things that would prove to you that you're not simply just waiting for things to happen, but that you, in turn, are making things happen yourself. And that is going to really dispel the doubts that you have. That is going to stop and tune out the wrong voice that you might be hearing in your head, that is talking about all the things that could go wrong in the area of your life where you are trying to grow. Another way that I would suggest for you to approach in your life, if you have things, important situations, or kind of important decisions that you might need to make, or points where you come into yourself that you aren't sure about, and it's because you're growing, right? You're making changes in whatever the area of your life is. Maybe it's your ambition or your goals, or just something that you want to do for yourself or for people around you. Well, instead of worrying about things that could go wrong, I would urge you to try to ask yourself, what if things turn out better than I could ever imagine? What if, I go on this date, and instead of this person, being not exactly what I expected, maybe we're gonna really click and we're just gonna have a great time. What if I do run ads, and instead of like throwing money away, I'm gonna find new customers, and I'm gonna find more people who like get what I do. What if I make this presentation, in my community, and people are gonna really love it. They're gonna really enjoy it because I'm authentic and real, and I'm sharing something that might be interesting to them. So, all of those things will put you in a place where you're expecting good things to happen. You're not looking for what could go wrong, but you're setting yourself up to win. You're setting yourself up when you expect good things to come to you. And I promise you this, when you expect good things to happen, more great things will come your way, because you're coming at this like with just a totally different level of energy. You're more fun, you're just more playful, you're willing to give it a go, and that is what's going to make the difference. That's going to be the magic driver that will not only get you where you want to get to faster, but it will also tune out and drown out the wrong voice that you might be hearing in your head about all the things that might go wrong in some world. Because after all, my friend, why worry about all the things that could go wrong when there is so much to make right.